Hello everyone, and welcome back to our channel. Today, we are turning our attention to a by-election that's making waves far beyond its borders, the contest in Ward 16, Koppies, better known as Kwakwatsi, in the Ngwede municipality of the Free State. At first glance, it may seem like a routine event in a relatively small part of the country. But in reality, it reveals a seismic shift in the political ground beneath the ANC, and could signal what's coming in 2026. The African National Congress has narrowly held on to the ward, but that headline doesn't tell the full story. Just 5 years ago, the ANC dominated this ward with a comfortable 62% majority. This time, they scraped by with just 47%. That's a catastrophic 15-point drop in an area long considered one of their safest strongholds. Meanwhile, the economic freedom fighters nearly doubled their support, leaping from 18% to a formidable 35%. And making its local debut, the newly formed Umkhonto we Sizwe MK party stunned observers with 15% of the vote, a strong showing considering its dismal national performance just weeks ago. So what does this mean? Is the ANC's grip on the Free State crumbling? Is the EFF positioning itself as the next dominant force in the province? And what are communities like Kwakwatsi trying to say through their vote? We'll break it all down, the numbers, the underlying causes, and what political analysts are predicting for the road to 2026. If you're from Ngwede or the Fizal Dobie district, this one's especially for you, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's begin with the results. The ANC held on to Ward 16, yes, but in name only. From over 60% support to just 47%, they are now governing with less than half of the electorate's backing. That alone would be troubling for any party, but for the ANC, which built its reputation on historic loyalty in rural and township communities, this is an unmistakable warning sign. Now look at the EFF. Their rise wasn't accidental. Their growth reflects years of grassroots organizing, community engagement, and relentless messaging around corruption, unemployment, and youth empowerment. The fact that they surged to 35% shows that voters are actively looking for alternatives. The EFF is no longer a protest vote, it's becoming a real threat to the ANC's dominance. Then there's MK. Many dismiss Jacob Zuma's party as a flash in the pan, a vehicle for personal revenge or populist noise. But earning 15% in a new ward, outside their KZN base, suggests they're picking up real support from disillusioned voters. Not just ex-ANC loyalists, but also the left behind, those who feel entirely abandoned by the political system. So what's driving these changes? One word: frustration. Deep, simmering frustration with service delivery failures, corruption, and broken promises. In Kwakwatsi, residents have been dealing with power outages, water interruptions, potholes, and joblessness for years. Municipal officials are seen as disconnected, and the ANC brand has become associated not with liberation, but with stagnation. The Ngwede municipality, like many in the Free State, is plagued by mismanagement. Auditors have flagged financial irregularities, service protests have become frequent, and there's a growing sense that basic governance is crumbling. These local issues are not isolated. They are part of a broader national pattern. Voters across the country are fed up and increasingly willing to punish the ANC at the polls, even in areas where it was once unimaginable. Let's zoom in on the EFF's gains. The party's message of economic justice, land reform, and anti-corruption is resonating more than ever, especially among the youth. And in places like Ward 16, where unemployment is sky-high and local governance has failed, the EFF's rhetoric about fighting for the people is being heard. What's more, their vote share suggests strong organizational discipline. The EFF has built local structures that are active and visible. They don't just show up during campaigns, they're present year-round. That's what separates growing political movements from short-lived ones. If they continue this upward trend, they could force coalition governments not just in metros, but even in rural municipalities long considered off-limits. Now let's talk about MK's performance. This result is no fluke. It's a sign that Zuma's appeal still runs deep, even outside KwaZulu-Natal. MK's 15% suggests that a significant number of voters see Zuma as the last true voice of the poor, someone who defied the system and paid a price for it. Of course, the MK party's policy platform is vague. It leans heavily on anti-establishment energy and nostalgia for Zuma's presidency. But that's precisely what makes it effective in disenfranchised communities. MK isn't selling detailed policies, it's selling anger, resistance, and betrayal. And it's landing. If they can stabilize their leadership, avoid internal power struggles, and build on this momentum, they could become a permanent fixture on the political landscape, not just a Zuma-era relic. Let's not forget the role of youth and voter turnout. Despite growing dissatisfaction, many young people still don't vote. And that's the biggest wild card in South African politics. The ANC, EFF, MK, they all know that the youth could tip the scales, if only they turned up in large numbers. In areas like Kwakwatsi, there's a generation of young adults who've never had formal employment. They live with parents or grandparents, depend on social grants, and feel alienated from any political system. They're not apathetic, they're disillusioned. And when they do show up at the polls, they're not voting ANC. That's why this by-election is so important. It's not just about the result. It's a preview of what could happen across dozens of wards and municipalities in 2026, when local elections return with new urgency and real consequences. So what does all of this mean for the ANC, and for South Africa as a whole? For the ANC, it's an existential crisis. They are not just losing votes, they're losing trust. And once trust is broken in communities like Kwakwatsi, it's incredibly hard to win back. If the ANC can't reverse this trend, we may see a free state where they're forced into coalitions or even pushed into opposition in certain municipalities. For the EFF, this is a launch pad. They've proven they can take on the ANC in its heartlands and come close. With discipline, consistent campaigning, and a clear message, they could flip wards like this in 2026. For the MK party, this is validation. They are no longer a joke or a distraction. They are now part of the conversation. And for voters, this is empowerment. The message is clear, your vote matters. Even in a ward like this, once considered unwinnable by opposition parties, a massive shift occurred because people turned out, made a choice, and demanded something better. So what do you think? Is the ANC losing its grip on the Free State? Can the EFF take the province by 2026? And will the MK party keep rising, or is this just a flash of protest energy? Let us know in the comments below. If you're from Ngweth, Koppies, or anywhere in Feazal Dobby, we'd especially love to hear your take. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel for more political commentary, and hit the bell icon so you never miss a breakdown like this. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.